Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. Happy New Year, everybody. I haven't seen you all since last year. So happy New Year, happy New Year. I hope that 2025 has kicked off with wonderment and excitement and success and all the things that go with having a brand new year to start all over again, right? So welcome, welcome, welcome. You have tuned into the Business Plugs Mixer. So if you're watching me, go ahead and share this with your friends. Also, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel where you're watching it and then click on the notification so that you'll be able to know when I'm on, because most times I'm on Sundays, but there are times when I'm on throughout the week when I have special sessions. So that way you'll know whenever we're on. Also, before I'm excited about to get my guest today. She is going to bring us some information that you can use in your new year, new you, right? So I'm supporting that effort because what the statistics say is that by day 9, we've all given up on the resolutions, the goals, and everything. I'm saying that's not this. That's not what we're doing. I'm bringing Amanda in, and she's going to share what she do and how she does it with you, and it's going to be so exciting. You're going to be glad you're here. So go ahead and tell your friends. Tell your circle. We're back on. Like, this is the first one of the year, and before I go there, she's got an event coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and put that link where you can get to it, because I want you to be able, like, you're gonna thank me later, and that's okay. But I need to tell you two things before I bring her on. First thing is, if you are certified, if you already have all your certifications, and you want to know a little bit more about government contracting, reach out to me, because I got something for you. I got something this year. I am committing myself to government contracting and my business owners who have the credentials or who want to get the credentials so that they can be a part of government contracting. So that's where the focus is this year. If you are interested, then please, please, please come join me. You can find the link in wherever you're watching the video. In addition to that, if you would like to be on the Business Plugs Mixer, that link is also in wherever you're watching this in the description. So go ahead and link up with me, and let's get your business off to a great start for 2025. Without further ado, I would like to bring my guest on. You all, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Amanda. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, Linda. Great to be here with you. So excited to be on the Business Mixer plug and have this conversation today.
Absolutely. So thank you for your yes. So tell my audience, who is Amanda Hillman?
Amanda Hinman. So I am the founder of the Thyroid Hormone Solution. I help women over 40 to massively charge up their energy, improve their mood, and do all of this while releasing weight permanently. Really helping women to feel empowered and fantastic in their bodies.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so tell my audience, how did you start doing this? Like, how did you get to do this thing in your business?
Yeah, great question, Linda. I actually feel like this pathway chose me. I always say I feel like it was a divine redirection because many years ago out of college, I was a CPA, went into public accounting and thought like, okay, this is going to be my career. This is my game plan. And had always had a passion and an interest for health and wellness and fitness, and considered myself a very healthy individual, in my 20s and 30s, because I taught group fitness classes and I ate salads and smoothies and that type of thing. However, when I was pregnant with my 4th daughter, I was experiencing some uncomfortable side effects. I was really, really exhausted and depleted. My hair was falling out all the time. I had constipation and just could not sleep. Felt wired but tired in my brain.
Yeah.
And when I went in for a normal, prenatal checkup, they were doing blood work, and I discovered that I had an autoimmune condition. And I remember being in the doctor's office, and he was like, "Oh yes, you have an autoimmune condition. This is something we'll give you medication and you'll just take it for the rest of your life because your immune system is attacking your thyroid. It's called Hashimoto's thyroiditis." And I was like, at first, I was like, "What? Are you serious? Like, how is that possible? I'm very healthy. I eat well. I eat salads, and I work out all the time." And at that time, he went on to explain that once you have one autoimmune diagnosis, likely you will have 2 or 3 in the next couple of years following, because the immune system is attacking your body, just didn't resonate. Every part of my body was in shock and denial, if I'm being candid. It felt like it came out of the blue, right?
And I can imagine.
And so it was like, it kind of shifted me, but then I was like, okay, I can handle this. I can, improve this, and started working with a naturopathic doctor, as many people do when they have health challenges. They go seeking other, medical professionals and trying to do their best to see what's possible to improve their symptoms. And I had, was given a whole bunch of fancy tests and a list of about 15 supplements to take and foods to eliminate. So I kind of dove right in to work really hard and do all the things I was told, supposed to do. And unfortunately, my autoimmune condition did not improve. Like, the numbers got worse.
Wow.
And the symptoms got worse. And so then I was really resentful of, I'm doing all the things, I spent a lot of money, and it's not working, right?
Yeah.
Well, at that same time, and I many of your listeners, if they've had health experiences, I feel like that's been a common experience that other women have shared with me, is like, I've tried to do all the things and it hasn't necessarily gotten better. So
that part right there, I can relate.
Well, and then the worst part happened, Linda. So about 20 months after my diagnosis, my oldest daughter, at that time I have 4 daughters, and she was 8 years old at that time. She had always been a highly sensitive girl, like prone to anxiety and get anxious about things. Well, that escalated to the place of where she was having 10, 12, up to 15 seizures in a day.
Oh, mercy.
And it would just shut her down. Like, her brain would get overwhelmed and just like be out of, she couldn't handle life at that time. So she was on 4 different benzodiazepine medications just to make it through a 24-hour period, symptom free. And that's devastating to see your child.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What I remember being with some of the best pediatric neurologists, like fantastic trained doctors. These people are brilliant, and nothing against them. But I remember asking the questions like, well, how did this happen? Same thing with my autoimmune condition. Like, where did this come from? And, how did this happen? Where did this seemingly out of the blue? She seemed perfectly healthy, and now all of a sudden is like completely in a different place. And, we were told again that sometimes these things are genetic, and she'll have to take medication, likely won't be able to drive a car, and just manage it, which was kind of the similar advice I was given, just to manage the symptoms.
Yeah.
And every fiber in my heart and my being, Linda, was like, this cannot be the end of the story.
I understand it.
A root cause that we are missing, that we just haven't uncovered yet. And that's when I actually went back to school and studied functional medicine science. And functional medicine science is really looking at the interconnectedness of our different systems, our cardiovascular system and our endocrine hormone system and our digestive system and our immune system and all the different systems, how they work together.
Exactly.
And where there's either a blockage or an impairment or a depletion in the body that's creating the unwanted symptoms and the dynamics.
Yeah.
So that learning, that knowledge really, things started to click into place. It was like having the puzzle pieces make sense.
Yeah.
I understand what happened in my situation. I understand what happened for my daughter's situation. And then we could be more proactive and strategic. And it's like, okay, well, we can rebuild health. Health is something that can always be built up.
Yeah.
So the great news is, in under a year's time, we weaned off of all medication. I was able to get rid of the thyroid medication and maintain that in remission. She has weaned off of all of her anti-seizure medication and has been seizure-free for over 10 years since. Now she's in college and doing great. So it was really just changing the environment and rebuilding health that was a catalyst to open my eyes to learn this is what's possible. And I have to share this with more women. I have to let them know that if they're not experiencing the true health and vitality and energy and, feeling great in their own bodies, then we can put the puzzle pieces together, even if they seem unrelated, like mental, whether it's struggling with anxiety or struggling with like a skin irritation or diabetes, or these are not unrelated. We can put the puzzle pieces together and come up.
Absolutely. I think that is so timely in the fact, because as Western medicine goes back to some of the alternatives that we practiced before big pharma's turned over, right? Before they took over.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of people are into, holistic medicine and learning alternative ways of finding healing in addition, instead of taking medications, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so getting us off all the pills that's made people millionaires and done little. I was listening to a commercial the other night, and it talked about if you have this condition, then it said by taking this medicine, that condition will be resolved, but the side effects was like death.
Yes.
Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Would
Well,
you?
and that's the thing, Linda. A lot of times the side effects, like the medication may kind of be a band-aid or a management of one aspect, but oftentimes it's creating a different unwanted dynamic elsewhere that we may not be aware of.
Exactly. And I'm listening to this commercial and I'm thinking, about the people who hear the first part but don't hear the second part.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because people hear, oh, it's going to cure whatever I have going on, but then what is that going to look like in the long term? Because you move from one set of circumstances to a totally different one. That could, okay, fatality, that could be good, and that could be good and bad. I mean, like that. So in doing your renew you have a program coming up.
New year, yes. Well, my best-selling book, The Thyroid Hormone Solution,
I like that.
it's a 5-step plan. It's the same 5 steps that I've been supporting hundreds of women for the last 10 years. And really what it is first step number 1, we look at what is understanding the root cause. Because here's the thing, every person has a unique lifestyle, a unique genetic makeup, and a unique set of experiences and circumstances that have together led to create the dynamic of whatever unwanted health challenge they're experiencing. So it's not like a cookie. And, in Western medicine, we often give a diagnosis. Well, like general anxiety disorder, for example, or, hypertension, for example, or in my case, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. We can give a fancy name, but unfortunately that name is just simply representing a collection of symptoms.
Yes.
The diagnosis, the name, there's over 55,000 different diagnoses in the ICD guidebook, which is
the ICD-10. I'm familiar. Yeah.
But that name does not tell us anything about what is the upstream root cause or pathway for this unique individual. So the step number 1 that I do with all my clients is we look more specifically and customly at what is your lifestyle, your health history, your background, what is your body's physiology showing us, and where can we put these pieces of the puzzle together to start to build health again. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is replenishing nutrients. Every single cell in the body requires nutrients to do its job. It's kind of like putting gas in the car. If you don't put gas in your car, you don't expect it to go down the highway, right?
Exactly.
Well, we don't keep an extra pantry full of antioxidants, like glutathione and vitamin C, or minerals like manganese and iron. We don't keep those in our left butt cheek. We have to consume them, and we have to eat them on a regular basis.
Yes.
And then that's step number 1. So seeing where there is some depletion for this unique person, where do they need to replenish and kind of build up those stores of certain nutrients. Step number 3 is then restoring digestive fire, because sometimes many of the women I support, especially over age 40, our ability to, even if we choose healthy food, our ability to put that food in our mouth, or the supplement or the liquid, whatever it is that contains, let's say, vitamin A and vitamin D that your body would like. If you're eating in a very rushed or hurried state and you're in a sympathetic fight or flight state, or you just have really low hydrochloric acid in your stomach, it's not going to be able to break apart the food effectively and digest it so that that individual nutrient can actually be absorbed inside the cell. So sometimes even when people are seemingly eating healthy, like I thought I was, it's not being digested appropriately. So does it actually get that nutrient transported into the cell where it's intended to go?
Yeah. Understanding that, just that piece right there, that the nutrients have to enter the cell.
They have to
Like,
enter the cell.
yeah, like the cell absorption is what we're talking about in more now, in how sometimes the over the counter uh supplements,
Supplements.
if you don't read it well, it doesn't get absorbed by the cells.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of those supplements that you can find, over the counter and they're accessible everywhere. It sounds great, but a lot of times you end up spending a lot of money and not really having the benefit at a cellular level because they're not absorbable, or you just end up excreting them, right? You got to pull them out. So yes, you're absolutely right. And then the next step that we talk about is what I call reset your thinking. And this is always a really powerful dynamic for women to dive in and learn about even more, because especially when we're talking about the hormones, I tend to be, somebody who gravitates towards clients that have hormone imbalances, whether we're talking about sluggish thyroid, which tends to make women gain weight, or insulin resistance, or diabetes, or hypertension, or even signs from, when we enter perimenopause and then menopause, when our estrogen levels and progesterone, testosterone levels change, all of these things, and cortisol, stress hormones, all of these things are different hormones. Well, our hormone axis is what I call the HPATG. Hypothalamus is in the brain. That's at the very top of the
It is.
brain. And that hypothalamus is an organ in the body that essentially it is going to make sense of your world. So it's kind of it gives it meaning, what you think about, how you interpret different circumstances and situations and people, and how you make sense of your world is your hypothalamus. Then the next one is the pituitary. The pituitary is constantly surveilling. It's also in the brain. It's surveilling the body to see what is the internal environment, what type of signaling, what type of hormones should I send out and respond to. And then the adrenals, that is going to regulate immunity, and it regulates stress response. Well, if we're getting a lot of our signaling from the hypothalamus, and then it signals to the adrenals and goes down that cascade, guess what? Many women and men, but many women I work with are chronically signaling their bodies that the world is not safe, that they live in chronic fight or flight response. And it's not necessarily because they're running to save their life or they have an imminent physical threat right in front of them. It's simply because of the way that they're thinking about or interpreting that, frustration with a coworker, or that argument with a spouse or a child. And just the way that they're thinking about the situation is actually creating a stress response in their own body that's detracting from their own health.
Absolutely. And you can, in this culture that we're in, you can listen to the news or listen to your radio station or listen to, read an article or be on the internet. Like, it's so much negativity out there that could lend to you subconsciously thinking, I'm not safe.
Right. A subconscious, right? Oftentimes it's not intentional. It's just pervasive in our environment.
Exactly. And so you help them to walk through that?
So we have a whole process. We use neuroscience in our work. So it's helping you to become aware of, identify where are the key areas that are the primary triggers for stress. And a lot of times it's based on past traumatic experiences. And it's helping women to start to shed those in a safe environment, bring that to the surface, become aware of it, and then have the tools to, like I said, it's cutting edge neuroscience technology to be able to rewire and create new interpretations, new associations, and new ways of perceiving and understanding the world, or even past experiences, right? What the cool thing is, our brains are able to adapt.
Absolutely.
The beautiful thing, neuroplasticity, where we can really change and alter even things that have happened in our past that we've had really strong triggers or emotional responses to. And for me personally, this is the piece, Linda, that when I first was diagnosed and working through my health with a naturopathic doctor, this wasn't even part of the conversation. And in my unique situation, because of past family addiction dynamics and things like that, was one of the primary areas that needed to be improved and resolved in order for my body to ever get into a healing place. So it's beautiful to like bring it all together.
Absolutely.
That fifth step is removing toxins, because everybody's body has what I call a total toxic threshold. And if you pass that threshold, whether it be from things that are coming into our body from the external world, or from the toxic thoughts that we're having about ourselves or beating ourselves up or others, these things just have to come into balance so that your body can maintain that homeostasis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing, is sometimes we've been in it so long, we've gotten used to it.
Yes.
And we've become kind of numb to it all.
Exactly. Oftentimes the hell that you are familiar with is more comfortable than the unknown heaven.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you become accustomed to it, it's always going to be this way. And to know that it's a new year, right? Yeah. And you can have a new way of thinking, a new way of living, period. Could really save a life, could really, really save a life and help people to live in the area that they were designed to live.
Yes. Yes. It reminds me of like my client, Melissa. She came to me when she was absolutely so overwhelmed with fear and anxiety because she discovered a lump in her breast and was told that she would have to have a lumpectomy and start to go through treatment. Really, really scared. That's a scary situation, right? When you start to, your brain starts to go to all of the worst case scenarios.
Exactly.
And again, through really intentional work with looking at the dynamics in her specific body and her situation, helping to get some key nutrients in that her body needed to bring down the inflammatory response, right? So that her body can get out of that inflammation and really start to remove the toxins, start to help her reset her neuro pathways so that she can start thinking about things and being open to new possibilities. I mean, in 6 months' time, that lump in her breast disappeared. She avoided a $5,000 surgery. And not only that, she felt capable and she felt so appreciative of her body and how it's resilient. And like, this is something that I can work in collaboration with, and I can actually see an improvement around, instead of it feeling like a victim and being defeated and out of your control. It literally can completely radically change your relationship with your own body and your health.
I love that. I love that. So, because a lot of times we get trapped and we feel isolated. And so having explanations and having a way out, like being able to understand that there is a way out, that how you've been feeling is not permanent.
Yes.
I love that you're dealing with the holistic person.
Yes.
And internal and external.
So many women I talk to, I have been, so actually a lot of the conversation leading up to this free 4-day virtual workshop that I'm hosting, kicking off January 20th through the 23rd, is really in support of those women who have experienced what I've started to call in term as health PTSD. We've all heard of PTSD in different arenas. But I truly believe that there's many of us that have struggled with health PTSD. I know I was one of them, because we've come up to a challenging situation with our health or somebody we love and care about, that health situation, and you've tried to improve it. It's not like you just said, oh, well, nothing I can do. Like you've tried maybe, to follow a nutrition plan, or you've tried to get back on track with movement and exercise so that you could take care of your body, or you've tried maybe to overcome anxiety and improve your sleep and different things, whatever the dynamic is happening. And yet it feels like your body is different. Like maybe what's worked for your friends and worked for your family members, you see it working for others. Maybe they've been able to release the 20 pounds. Maybe they've been able to really charge up their energy and improve their mood. But when you tried the same thing, it didn't work for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's a matter of like what I like investments, these little investment traumas. Like you're like, oh, I paid for the expensive lab work, and then I paid for all these supplements, and then I paid for this, and I put in so much time and so much energy to try and do these things. And again, I still don't feel any better.
There's something there's a calling in you that's going unanswered. Like you feel like this can't be my normal.
Yes.
Because you're unaligned.
Right. And maybe you had a pathway or a solution that was presented that just didn't resonate with you or something. So if you're in that space, like I've been there and I understand it, and it doesn't mean that it's over. It means that you get to learn from what is going to be that right combination. And like I said, I'm a big advocate of functional medicine, getting to the root cause and taking a holistic approach, not doing it one-dimensional. Yes, food is absolutely important, and you can rebuild health with good nutrition, but that's not the only thing. If you eat the healthiest food in the world, but other areas are, stressful and chaotic, it's not going to be able to build health in isolation.
Absolutely.
Right? It's a combination of things. So I just want your audience and anyone who's listening to this to feel a source of inspiration. It's important to get into an environment where you can have some knowledge that really puts some of the puzzle pieces together, inspires you, and have simple, sustainable actions that you can take to start to rebuild your health.
Absolutely. Because health starts at home, right? And so that's the whole thing is the theme of this day's topic is how can you save yourself at home? How can, it starts with you. It starts your person, because a lot of times as women, we make sure our spouses or our significant others are all right. We make sure the kids are all right. And we fail to make sure that we're all right.
Yes.
And so this is a way for women to check in and to make sure that, like on the airplane where they tell you to put your mask on first, this is an opportunity to put your mask on for this new year and start thinking about how can you become the best version of you.
Yes. And the reality is everyone around you benefits when you are thriving.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we're the ones we're the glue.
Yeah. We are. It's funny. My daughter was just saying to me today, she's like, Mom, what did you do today? And I was like, well, I went to watch your sister's cheer competition and then, made lunch for everyone. And then, I was saying the thing. She's like, you did a lot for all of us. And I go, yeah, it's like when we have the capacity, when we're in a good place, we can then show up as the best version for everyone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an empty cup feeds no one, right? So we have to make sure we're pouring into ourselves and taking the time to get ourselves back healthy.
Yes. And Linda, I want to share with you, there are 3 statistics that I think are really powerful for us to recognize, because you mentioned something before that is noteworthy. We live in an environment that if we don't tune in and become intentional as it relates to our individual health, the environment, the culture as a whole is not set up to support us to thrive. And here's why. 2.9, 5, and 30,000. Those numbers are really critical when it comes to women's health. 2.9 seconds is now the new attention span for adults. 2.9 seconds, Linda. That means we get distracted so quickly.
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? When you are distracted, when you're bouncing from one thing to the next, or tuning into this, or paying attention to that, you're not connected to yourself, and your health will suffer, because chances are you're going to get distracted from making intentional choices around how you nourish yourself, or how you unwind and get good, peaceful, restorative sleep, or what type of thoughts you're perceiving and interpreting about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The 2-point focus is critical for sustainable health.
The thoughts that we think play out in our lives in real time. And so, I tell my business owners, anytime you have to look at the world around you, because your thinking is what's guiding it. Your choices based on your thinking is what's guiding what you see.
Yes, it is. That number I mentioned is 5. Women over 40, statistics now show gain an average of 5 pounds per year.
Woo.
5 pounds. That, especially compounded, that's a hormone nightmare.
Yes.
It really sends our body into mixed up signals. It doesn't know how to adapt and navigate in an efficient, effective way, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if we just do what everyone else around us is doing, what society, what culture is created to be the norm, that's the norm.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's not where we want to be. And that last statistic I mentioned, 30,000. 30,000 is the average number of items in a grocery store that are highly processed, chemicalized, what I call food-like substances, but really nutrient dense, supporting your health and vitality.
Wow.
If we're just walking through the grocery store and picking up what's available, what's around us, chances are it's creating more toxicity and more damage to the body than it is vitality and building health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. 2.9, 5, and 30,000.
Yes.
Very important numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, before COVID, it was 4 seconds attention span. So it's getting worse.
It's shrunk. Yes.
So, good gracious. We can't pay attention. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. But I thank you. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you want? Like, give me the one takeaway you would like the person viewing this interview to take away from it.
The one thing I would like, I'll gift this to your audience because I feel so strongly about it, is be proactive for your own health. And the thing that I recommend to everyone is to take I have a free hormone assessment where your top 6 metabolic hormones, just simply answer a couple questions based on any symptoms that you may or may not be experiencing, and get an idea of where your body may be trying to signal to you.
Yeah.
Hey, pay attention. I want your attention because I need some help over here. Our bodies can't talk to us, but they talk to us through symptoms.
Absolutely. It gives us signals. Absolutely.
And I think I put it in the chat there, the free hormone assessment link.
Okay.
So that you can share that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
That is like,
and I will make sure
to your audience. It's just a way for you to say, like, ooh, is it looking like I have elevated cortisol levels? Or perhaps my thyroid is it's lower than optimal. Like, how can I start to, based on how I'm feeling, how can I start to gauge what to pay attention to?
Absolutely.
So that's my gift to your audience. And like I said, I'm running this workshop kicking off January 20th through the 23rd. Anyone is welcome to join. It's to get in a community and to have kind of someone to lock arms with you and say, okay, we're going to look at this one step at a time. We're going to break it down and give you some super simple strategies that will really change your health. So you're welcome to join us there as well.
Absolutely. I put that in the chat, in the discussion comments. And so take advantage of that. That's a great opportunity. Take advantage of that free hormone assessment, regardless of your age, but especially if you're over 40.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just making sure that we start this year off healthy so we can actually meet those goals and those objectives we set out for the year.
Definitely.
Well, thank you
again.
It
makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. This is going to be our best year yet.
It is. Yeah.
It is. I'm determined. But thank you for your yes, and thank you for coming on. As I close, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug. You've just tuned in to Amanda Hinman, who come to you talking about healthy here in 2025. Go ahead and connect with her through the links. Also, wherever you're watching this, those links are there. I'll see you next Sunday on the Business Plugs Mixer. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week.